carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's match review of Newcastle United 0, Brighton 1. Very, very disappointing game. Result. We'll come on to the game in due course. Lots to talk about, throughout the game. Some players just still aren't looking like their normal selves. The football was okay, certainly first half, but we just have no clinical finisher at the moment, and that's what's letting us down. But we will get into it all on here. My name's Paul. I'm joined by Alex, Billy, and of course, Lady Sam. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in tonight. And if you do enjoy the show, hit that like button. And of course, if you're new and like what you see, please do subscribe. You can support the channel in the usual two ways as well. First of all, by the membership, which is the join button just underneath us. And of course, super chats, which is the $ underneath the live chat. And if you do super chat, that will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. Good evening, my troops.
Good evening, and good evening to all those out there in viewerland.
So, where do we start? Well, what we'll do is we start with a poll. Do you still support Eddie? Simple as that. Yes or no? We'll leave that up for around half an hour or so before we do the man of the match. So that is pinned at the top of the description. Do you still support Eddie? I'm very keen to see what these results are after certainly a lot of, shall we say, negativity across social media since the defeat yesterday. Sam, you've only managed to watch the highlights because you had a broken machine. So you've seen the goal. So you may as well tell us what you thought of that for a start.
Yes, my time machine was broken. Thank you
Yes.
there, Paul.
No
Absolutely shocking, actually. What I've managed to see so far, it's paralyzing. It's paralyzing to actually watch the performances. I know that we've really struggled this season so far, but I feel that front line just is not succinct to what we actually have in mind tactically. The quality of finishing isn't there, but actually the goal itself is what shook me to my very core. Absolutely dreadful defensively. Is Paul frozen? Or is he just really thinking hard about what I've just said?
The thinker. Oh, that we've got a bit of constipation.
Let's go for constipation.
Yeah.
There is bad weather. He did warn us of this. So
yeah,
It
it
is.
is bad here. It is bad
yeah,
here.
defensively, that it was very bad. I'm sure Paul wants to talk about the goal as a point, but it wasn't fun. It's something that we've seen before against Fulham. Well, he's just bad. I'm sure he will be back. We saw the same kind of thing against Fulham, Sam, where we were dominant. We nearly scored, and then they went and put it in our net. So it's not the first time this has happened this season.
Yeah, shocking. Billy, thoughts?
Yeah, it was amateurish, actually. I don't know what Dan Burn's doing. I really don't. I don't know why he's stood on the edge of the centre circle. Fabian Schär gets really done by a scoreboard 1-2, follows the ball. And yeah, it's just really, really poor amateurish defending.
Well, like Alex said, I know we're going to talk about it as a point anyway, but I should hold my tongue, shouldn't I? I'm being like a chatty Cathy here. I'm going to shut my mouth because I've got a lot to say about that.
Well, my general opinion on the game, which is gonna irritate people, but I'm gonna get it out in the air before or out in the open before Paul returns, because why not? I'm
Go for it.
I'm not overly fussed by the performance. There you go. I've said it. I'm not overly fussed. There's a lot of comments about the system and the 4-3-3 doesn't work. I think it worked fine. I think it was people couldn't hit a barn door. I think it works against Everton as well, but people couldn't hit a barn door. So there's nothing wrong with the system. We're getting the opportunities because of the system and the players executing it properly, but then just not being able to hit a barn door. So I don't mind 90% of what happened in the last two matches. It's just a huge issue with finishing, which we'll get to. I'm sure that's a big point from Paul. Is finishing is a big problem. But we talked about this yesterday on the podcast, on the Patreon podcast, Billy. We've accumulated 4 XG in the last 2 matches. So you would typically expect us to have scored 4 goals in the last 2 games. We've scored 0. So not even halfway towards what we should have scored. It's like 4 times less than what you would score on average with those opportunities. So just as a bigger context, we'll go through everything in detail. Yeah, are there worrying signs? Yes. Livramento falling asleep at the end, Fabian Schär falling asleep, Dan Burn positionally, finishing, attacking set pieces are really bad. There's a lot we need to improve on, 100%. Yeah. There's loads of stuff Eddie Howe can improve, loads of stuff the team can improve. But, if we replay those 2 matches, 9 times out of 10, we win both of those. Gordon missed a pen against Everton. It's one of those, isn't it? And a lot of people don't want to hear it, and everybody's allowed their opinion on this. But we even said, Billy, we had 35 shots across those 2 games and scored none of them. That doesn't happen for a long time. We'll get out of the bad luck if it's a bit more than luck. But yeah, that's my take on everything so far.
It is strange, though, isn't it? At the beginning of the season, when we weren't playing anywhere near as well as what we are now, and we were winning games and not losing them, and now we're playing quite well and we can't win a game. It's perverse, isn't it?
I mean, it could be that other teams have just found their stride, and we were just maybe in a better place as a team structurally because we haven't actually done that much in terms of recruitment. But I just feel like it could be a downward trajectory of based on the confidence. But Billy, before I sort of get your opinion on that, look at me taking the reins right
Go on,
here.
Sam. Go on, Sam.
Get on, lass. Call me Swift member for 9 months. Thank you very much for your support there. I still support Eddie, and you can't blame him for us not putting the ball in the back of the net yesterday, but I really do question his subs sometimes. Well,
agreed. I forgot to add that to my list. That's a fair point. Subs as well, 100%. Yeah. So Eddie's not innocent.
Rolling list here. Should we just have a bigger list and just add to it as we go? I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah, I think the main point is if we'd have put in another performance similar to the Southampton or Bournemouth display, then I think this reaction would have been justified. But it wasn't. It wasn't that bad. We were very dominant and should have won the game. It wasn't a bad performance. It was just poor execution in certain areas. We weren't as bad as we were against sort of Bournemouth and Brighton are a really, really good team. And they even decided, you know what, we're not going to try and control this game because we don't think we're going to win it that way. And as a lot of people in the chat have pointed out in the last couple of shows, we're actually quite good against good teams. Teams that try to play football against us, we do better because we're up for it. We press, there's more space. And Brighton just went, no. We saw what they did to Man City. We're not going to play that game because we're not going to win it. We're just going to do a big low block and see if we can snatch and grab. It's exactly what happened. Makes a lot of sense.
It's a strange tactic to kind of employ from minute one, but they did do that. And I don't give their manager any praise for it because it's down to luck for me. If we'd have finished our dinner, we'd have won the game 4-5-1.
100%.
At the end of the day, he's got away with murder there, the Brighton manager, and everyone's saying, "Well, what a tactical genius he is." Not for me, he's not.
And do you know what, Billy? Like, this is almost becoming symptomatic now of our season. The lack of finish that we have, the lack of precision and quality. Like the Everton match it sounds very, very similar to this, how it's described, and the highlights that I've seen of it as well. You know, what's the root cause of this? What could possibly be going on? Because we know the standard of players that we've got. We've seen some of these shine. They were outstanding for us at points last season, and it has all gone off the side of a cliff. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, Alexander Isak clearly has a crisis of confidence in front of goal. There's no doubt about that. Being starved of any kind of service for so long, he was kind of strangled by how many chances he had. But yesterday, when he did have a couple of chances, just didn't look like he was going to score.
Sure.
Here comes the gaffer.
Here he is.
Sorry about that. The wind is horrendous.
Coffee and curry.
Listen, it's just knocking everything for six in this street at the minute. It really is. It's all hour, this shop. I tried to get on 2 different networks, and both networks were saying, no, you're not allowed, bugger off.
Well, we're up to Claire G's membership for 14 months. That's where we're at for
Claire G's membership. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. That's a long time ago. Anyway,
we were talking.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've got.
We'll carry it. We were carrying the show for you, Paul. Our backs are sore, so I'm so pleased you're back.
Oh well, I mean, just tremendous strength, guys. Tremendous strength.
Team effort.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. So we've got Nick Thornton super chat as well. Our set pieces are pathetic. We need a new coach. So what have we been discussing? Well, I just disappeared.
We didn't read Claire G's out, by the way, so that didn't.
All
get
right.
read.
Well, I was at the game yesterday. Couldn't believe with Brighton's 1-0 slim lead, we took Tonali and Bruno off. Eddie's in-game management is questionable. Yes. I mean, what were you guys discussing?
Well, it was a little bit about the goal, because that was when you disappeared. So about the goal we conceded, and then just a general overview of everybody's thoughts about the game in the context of how we're doing at the moment. Because a lot of people are panicking a little bit. I mean, the poll now is Eddie faith or no faith, and we're just discussing whether that's maybe a little bit too much, hitting the panic button too soon. It wasn't like it was a Bournemouth performance. It was just couldn't finish.
Well, yeah. Listen, I've been thinking about that a lot today. First half for me was all right, but second half wasn't. It wasn't the same. I guess.
Eddie agrees, didn't he? He said 60.
Well, he did. But I mean, Eddie came out with a ridiculous statement saying, yeah, we just couldn't score. Well, that's the whole point of football, scoring goals. And we haven't scored a goal now for, Jesus Christ, 400 minutes or something. It's not good enough. From open play, that is, by the way, before anybody shouts me down. DK35, thank you for your super chat. Tottenham exploited the half space against Brighton with Maddison running in behind. But Herzler was smarter than his good tactics from them.
I don't agree. I really don't agree.
I thought they were awful first half. I thought the tactics was shocking, Billy.
They got away with murder. I say, with anyone with half a shooting beat one, the game's 4-5-1 to us.
That was not a Brighton masterclass at all.
Absolutely not. It's not, and it's certainly not the typical Brighton we've been seeing over the last few years.
No.
They seem to have kind of developed a different kind of way of playing, which I wouldn't want to be watching that every week if I was a Brighton fan. I must be honest.
That's as big a smash and grab as you're ever going to see. They were ranked bad, and it looked like they didn't have a. I mean, me and Billy were saying during the first half, Alex, it looked like Brighton didn't have a clue where they were supposed to be. They were getting the ball, but they were losing it within 30 seconds of getting it. We were really tenacious in that first half. We were closing down really well. Gordon nearly nicked it off the keeper twice. But again, it's just failure to test the goalkeeper. We just don't have it at the minute.
Yeah, that's why I was confident we were still going to win the game, even at 1-0 down, because they were just giving us the ball for free all the time, just booting it back to midfield, clearances straight back to us. They were messing up throw-ins. They were messing up goal kicks. They were just giving us the ball all the time, and we were creating shot after shot, chance after chance, and we should have buried them, absolutely buried them. We had 2 clear-cut one-on-ones. We had countless set pieces, and they were not good. I haven't seen anybody praise the manager, but he didn't deserve it. It wasn't an impressive performance from Brighton. It was clinical. They took advantage of poor positioning from centre halves, and it was clinical from Rutte and Welbeck once. Just
If
once.
they played like
Real
that
simple.
against anybody else, who's put that one up?
I just did it because we haven't mentioned it. I've just seen it.
Oh, thank you, Martin. We're players thinking Eddie was going to England.
Interesting point.
Spike Milligan, thank you for your super chat. My list is 1, failure to hit the net; 2, failure at every set piece; 3, super fuck up with the subs. I'm scoring Eddie a 3.
Fair.
Samsonite Dove, thank you for your super chat. First home defeat since January. Calm down. Right. Okay. This calm down stuff. Okay. I have to address it because, right, we're not saying we played badly yesterday. Far from it. And we never said that in commentary either. If anybody wants to go back and listen to it, we didn't say we played badly. What is concerning, and this is why, you know, I'm getting a bit annoyed with people telling other fans to calm down. I can understand going to the lengths of, just because we lost, Eddie needs sack and all of this way, you know. But when you tell someone to calm down, when people are trying to make points of we haven't scored from open play for 400 minutes or whatever it is, we cannot hit the back of the net at the minute, and we have some extremely difficult games coming up. Right, we've got Chelsea, we got Arsenal in the next 2 Premier League games. Now, for me, if we play like we are, and we are going to lose those games, in my opinion, right? Isak looks a shadow of himself. He doesn't even look like a confident striker at the minute. And yeah, granted, late on in the second half, he came into it a bit more, but his shots were shocking, to be honest, and very powder puff. But that is really what we've been saying for a long time now. Now, I don't know what's going on with Isak. You know, people saying, we don't play to his game. He had plenty chances yesterday, right? And he failed. Simple as that. Gordon failed with the opportunities he had. And I don't understand, and I've had a bit of time to think about this, guys. I don't understand, Sam, why he left Harvey Barnes on the bench again. And I'm not subscribed to this bollocks that he's better coming off the bench. You know, he's better than Murphy and he's better than Miggy. So you play him. Doesn't matter if Gordon's on the right and on the left. Just play your best players.
Agreed. And I think I'll be honest, before when we were talking about Gordon, you know, pre-signing the new contract, my concern was that if we didn't play Gordon in his preferred position, would he have his head turned more easily, because obviously he's going to think that his quality is not going to be there. Now that he's signed on and getting a healthy blooming paycheck, we play the best people. I don't think that argument comes into it anymore. And to see that when we're still not doing that, when arguably I think Barnes has been fantastically creative for us. Like I can see something happening special when he actually comes on and has chances and takes shots. That's what I want to see, because at the moment it's so lackluster. And I'm really starting to, you know, we'll get to it when we do the poll at the end, but I'm really teetering now. I need some hope in this, because it's not enough to say, well, you know, we're early, we're going to figure it out, we'll get there, we'll, you know, how in, how out. I'm really on the fence now. I need some hope. We need a win, and the lads need a win, because there needs to be some masterclass in confidence now.
I mean, Baz Down Under says, does Barnes play for England? No, but what's that got to do with the price of potatoes? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he has done. I mean, Jacob Murphy's never going to play for England, as long as he's got a hold up his arse.
I mean, the thing is, like, you know, the creativity is. I mean, there was once in the second half yesterday, I think it was Joelinton burst into the box, and he was in loads of space, and it just it fizzles out to nothing. He pulled the ball back, and it ended up
overplaying on several occasions.
Yeah, and this is why I'm not sure what is going on in training anymore, and maybe why people are asking the question of Eddie. Michael McIntyre, thank you for your super chat. Same old story with Eddie. Toon. I mean,
I question. I mean, it's a longer thing than this, but I question the actual signing of Harvey Barnes even now, because you know we signed a £40 million player who isn't going to get in the side in his preferred position. Doesn't make any sense to me.
He's playing. Harvey Barnes has been one of our
Yeah,
one
we
of
have,
our
but why
best
sign him?
players.
Why not sign someone that plays on the other side, but where we needed someone?
Well,
for that £40 million.
very good question.
Just to irritate everybody, wouldn't it be nice if we'd have had a Maverick to come off the bench?
Yeah, I agree with you.
A dribbly boy. Wouldn't that have been nice? Let's roll the dice and play somebody who can run at defenders and just.
I have no idea who you are talking about, Alex.
Who knows?
Yes, indeed.
Answers on a postcard too. It's in
I'm
the
not
past,
criticising
Alex.
Marlon I'm not criticising him because he has been our best player this season.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
go
I
back to
understand what
question.
you're saying, Billy. Yeah, it's the other side that needed strengthening, absolutely 100%.
But do you know what? For me, like Billy's point's a really, really good one, and it probably opens up more questions than it actually answers.
Probably.
Because I think our full recruitment strategy and how our team has looked, there looks like little balance, little cohesion to the players that we've got who've played with each other for a long time now, which is really quite frightening. Where is the strength? Look at the gaps that we've got, and our last few transfer windows haven't done enough, in my opinion, to strengthen. In fact, it looks like it's getting worse due to confidence.
Yeah. Peter, who's been a member for 18 months now on the channel. Thank you for your support, Peter. I'm tired of seeing Big Dan Burn balls it up. Lloyd Kelly is a much better central defender and needs to play. Well, I'm sorry, but I thought Burn was better than Shea yesterday.
I agree.
Yeah,
Second half, he was outstanding. Second half, he was outstanding.
He saved a goal for one, and he was head and shoulders above the rest of the defenders yesterday, in my opinion.
He was partly at fault for the goal. Well,
yes, he switched off, granted, but I'm putting that on Shea.
I don't know. I think that's Fabian Shea. Fine, Dan Burn's not in the right place.
Yeah, I think it's on
there's
Shea.
Three other players who can get
He's
to
30 yards on the pitch, though. He's 30 yards on the pitch. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, they took he was up there, but the free kick was taken a bit quickly, and then obviously, but Shea should not have been 5 yards away from Welbeck, should he? I mean, it was terrible defending.
But it's one of those
Is
where
that
you
for
can't.
me, Paul? Sorry,
Sorry.
go ahead, Alex.
Well, it's just it's about Billy's point. I blame Eddie for that. I'm not going to blame Burn. If you're going to play a system that requires your centre halves to play a high line, you can't then shout at the slowest man in the team for being out of in the wrong place when a free kick's been taken. I just can't blame Dan Burn.
I don't get how Shea's back and Burn's 40 yards up the pitch. I don't understand that.
I think this is what we need to see for people who were at the game and remember that moment leading up to that.
I think Dan Burn was
see it with
further
the
up the
camera
pitch before the free kick, wasn't he? So, but listen, we still had the fullbacks there as well. It was just Livermento's challenge. I mean, what the hell was that? I mean, it was just again just like our strikers.
I think he was the last gaff thing. I think he expected Shea to do better. I think we all did.
Yeah.
And if you look back at it though, Shea was dawdling towards the defense.
Yeah, that was
he was
unexpected.
dawdling.
He switched off. He completely
Yeah,
switched off.
and this isn't the first time that I've personally seen that from him this season. Like I do not know what is going on, and I think we sort of like can be tempted to jump on Burn, because actually sometimes he is quite often out of position, and because he doesn't have the legs anymore, he doesn't have the pace to get back. He's got the heart in the right place. He just doesn't have the pace. At least he was trying to run into the box, whereas Shaw was dawdling away. Like his lack of ambition to defend there for me was completely unacceptable.
And he then confounded it by getting suckered into a simple little 1-2 that scoreboard had taught to not watch the ball.
Yeah, but Billy, a couple of minutes before that, remember when he got the ball and he did that stupid little clearance that went straight to
chip thing. I said then, I wish he'd stop being too cute. Just play the game properly, defend properly, and clear the ball.
Yeah. Uncle Buzzcocks, thank you for your super chat. Our finishing let us down, but house subs are poor. It seems both the men and ladies have got a lot to answer for their substitutions this weekend.
How did ladies get on today? They were 3-1 up last time or so.
3-3. Charlton scored in the 94th and 95th minute. But Sam and Aaron, I am sure, will get stuck into that on the War Ashes show on Tuesday. But Becky Langme stopped taking off the front three. And a lot of fans have commented on that today. That Becky has just made a couple of errors lately, and always
we'll be
seems
chewing
to.
the fat on that Tuesday.
I am sure you
people.
will be.
Tune
Indeed.
in.
DK35, thank you for your super chat. Not saying they played well, but set up to frustrate. They are third for possession. We needed a Rutter-style player who was as comfortable as creative 10 as winger. Love the show.
Rooks did absolutely nothing apart from one pass in the whole game.
Sometimes one pass makes it all, though, doesn't it? As we've seen. Martin Brophy, we need a goal-scoring midfielder, 8 to 12 goals. Dan Robinson, thank you for your super chat. In my opinion, we've been found out. Teams know how to beat us. Shit summer transfer window. System is the same. Players offering nothing new. We're not moving forward. John Cook, thank you for your super chat. I would love Eddie to be successful with us, but concerned with his team selection and subs. Set pieces too. Lots to work on. Samsonite Dove, thank you for another super chat. Point deduction worth having kept Minte? That's a question. Well, I mean, it's hypothetical now because it's all gone. Look, for me, the set pieces, they're as much use as a fart in the wind. It just blows away. It's just they are terrible. They are terrible right now, and we who I believe it's Tyndall who works on the set pieces. I don't know where we go with set pieces now because somebody clearly, Alex, needs to get a hold of them in the training ground and say, right, we are going to work on nothing but set pieces for a full training session.
I don't even know if it's that. I think it's just ripping up the existing playbook because it's awful. We tried the same variant of a short corner routine all the time where we play it short to try and get a different angle and it whipped into the box. But it's so easy to read, and the opposition is so prepared that they always get closed down, and it's a poor cross in because they're being charged down so quickly, and that never amounts to anything because we're putting too many. It's so delicate and intricate to get it right because then the first ball's got to be right to Hall or Gordon or whoever's doing the short play, and then you've got to get a perfect cross. Then it's got to hit the guy at the back of the box, whether it's Byrne or Joelinton. Then it's got to be pulled back across, and hopefully nobody's intercepted it in the meantime or headed it away. Then the attacker has got to be then in the right place for the. It's too much. It's too much for me, and I don't think we're good enough. I don't think we're good enough to be doing things like it. We're overthinking set plays. It sounds great. It can work. But it's not working. We can't just because it can work. We just keep trying it and trying it and trying it, and it's nonsense. And we've got so many corner takers. We had a big whinge about Kieran Trippier. We can't whinge anymore because Gordon and Hall are doing the same thing.
Why is Tonali not taking set pieces?
Well, this was going to be my next point.
We saw him, Alex, in that tournament, and whenever he took a free kick, we said this many times. He hit an Italian player in that penalty area.
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen him take a set piece yet.
He's left as a cover player. He's left as either an attacking option or a cover player. That's why.
Yeah.
And because Gordon taking corners from that side is on his side anyway. Whereas when Hall takes an in-swinger, he's as far away as he possibly could be from left back, which is maybe we could let Tonali have a crack sometimes with an outswinger. And we only ever play in-swingers as well. There's no outswingers. We never play an outswinger. So we need
what really, really pissed me off was at the end of that match yesterday, we had a free kick on the right-hand side and Sean Longstaff took it and he didn't even clear the first man. It was disgraceful. And, by then, obviously, Bruno and Tonali had gone off the pitch. But Longstaff taking it, my God.
First half, which was suited for a left-footed power blast shot.
Absolutely.
Lewis went out the way and took it.
And took it and made a right scuff of it. It was just stupid. Chris at Evermore says our squad imbalance is so evident. We have no flair players who can pull rabbits out of hats like Hatton Ben Arthur or Maxi. As frustrating as they can be, they get you out the dirt in games like Saturday.
100%.
Do you know what, Alex? For the first time, I'm going to agree with you, matey. We did miss a Maxi. No doubt about it.
It doesn't have to be Maxi. It doesn't.
No, but a dribbly boy, as you would say.
Great, but
yeah,
somebody that you can just go and run at people for 25 minutes, see if we can do something different and unlock the door. It doesn't have to be a Maxi player, but this is why obviously Sanusi's a bit young, which is a shame. But if he was 2 years older and a bit more developed, maybe we could throw him in as an option in this kind of situation. But it's so one dimensional. What we can do as a plan B.
Very good to see Danny Welbeck was okay. Managed to get on the flight home as well. So that looked a bit nasty originally when he was on the oxygen and stuff. But, as I say, we don't want to see footballers in that sort of situation. So it was good to see that he was on the flight home. Peter McCardle, thank you for your super chat. We have no game changers on the bench. This squad will not finish top 7 with Eddie in charge.
I mean, that's like the 10th person that said that tonight. I've got to massively disagree because Harvey Barnes was on the bench and he has literally changed about 6
And a lot of people have said Harvey Barnes is best off the bench because he's a game changer. So it's a little confusing, isn't it?
And Willock, when he was fit and firing, was absolutely unplayable. Agreed, he's absolutely dross at the moment, but he's been in a position where he was fantastic and helped us get Champions League football. He pushed and he was great. So I feel like it's unfair to just randomly say, "Oh, they're all crap," or "They're all," you've got to assess it properly. We're not children.
Alex,
Claire?
do you think there's been a bit of a? Do you think we've been found out tactically, and they know what to expect in terms of formation and what our players will inevitably do? Because sometimes it's textbook. Or do you think there's been actually a form of regression, not just with the whole team, but with the individual players as well?
We don't have a plan B, by the way. Absolutely not.
There is that. So I'm going to say absolutely no, a hard no. We should have beat Everton 2-0. We should have beat Brighton 2-1. Missed a penalty against Everton with a handful of opportunities. We had plenty of opportunities to score against Brighton. People saying that we need goal scoring midfielders, we need X, Y, and Z. No, we don't. We need Gordon or Isak when they are put through one-on-one to slot that home. That is what they are paid to do as finishers. That is why they get goal bonuses in their contracts and they get all these kinds of things. I don't think there's a problem. I think the last 2 matches, the actual system was fine, and it's one of those things where we just couldn't hit a barn door. I've got no issue with the control of the game, with build up, with chance creation, shots. It was all there. It was fantastic, and I don't need Bruno or Tonali to score if they're playing Isak. That little passing sequence, the first touch from Tonali to Bruno, and Bruno with the first time ball to put Isak one-on-one for a goal scoring opportunity. That's what I want from Tonali and Bruno. They don't have to score.
That, Alex, is how long does this go on for, though? How long can we keep saying,
it's 35 shots across 2 games, Paul. 35 shots. It's
absolutely.
Down to the finish,
what I'm
surely.
saying, how long does this? How long do we keep saying, "Yeah, it's okay"? And you're right what you said. We're all right, but
if they keep drawing blanks, he'll get fired, won't he? So it's down to the players. They need to start doing something. Otherwise, they'll lose the match. They will love Eddie Howe so much. They need to start getting with the program now because they're gonna get this guy under a lot of pressure.
I was
going to say under a lot of scrutiny.
I said yesterday that the players need to take responsibility for missing opportunities, and the ones that Isak missed and Gordon, etc. The chances that we're not putting away. It's all right saying that, but we all know what football is about, and the sword falls on the manager. It doesn't fall on the players for missed opportunities. It falls on the manager's head. The manager will be punished for the players not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I felt a bit for Eddie yesterday. I have to say, when we were missing chances, you could see the frustration in the first half on his face. He was like, how is this happening? We're dominating the game, yet we just can't put that ball in the onion bag. And I don't know, I've got my reservations on Eddie now, like Sam has. I have to say, I'm a little bit sway. The wind is blowing one way, then another. And Matty Davies,
you can't blame Eddie Howe for the selection of the side and how he played, but you certainly can blame him for his in-game management. 100%.
Yes, it's his in-game management that is a problem for me.
So this is the plan B that I was talking about, though, Billy. Like, surely what you do in your in-game management, that is your plan B. Because plan A, it working. Like, in terms of goals, in terms of where are we on the score sheet, we're not there. So that tells me that a plan B is needed, and
he doesn't really have one.
He doesn't have one.
Well, I'll tell you what,
it's changing players for position's sake. The last time we've had a change as a plan B was when we had Wilson and Isak available and he went 4-4-2. That's the last time I've seen anything like an obvious plan B, whereas normally it's just like for like subs generally.
I don't know what Pedro's on about, saying out more, Paul. Matty Davies, member for 19 months. The recruitment team have hung Eddie out to dry with such a bad window and not improved the squad. Isak is a confidence player, and all he needs is a goal. Well, he scored against Tottenham. What I will say is he scored against Tottenham, and we haven't seen that. You know, it was a
Well, I'll
tap
just
in.
pick someone up on something because it's quite funny.
Yeah.
Philip's been on one tonight. Jeff Hendrick is not English, Philip, by the way, so he wouldn't get in that England side. But just so you know,
And Richie, he had Richie now, no.
Richie's not English either.
oh God, and Richard, I didn't see
Oh
that.
dear.
Yeah, Richie, the great Englishman. He doesn't speak like that, by the
Can't
way.
even be a Team GB squad because Hendrick's Irish.
Yeah. Right. Let's have a look at the poll then. So, how many
Cool.
people? I asked the question: do you still support Eddie? Where do you think the poll is sitting, guys?
Where was it last time?
I have no
Anyone
idea. I
remember?
can't remember.
60-40
idea.
for Eddie, wasn't it? I think it's going to be 55-45.
Okay. Any
I'm
advance
probably-
on that?
I'm going 50-50.
Oof.
I'll
Alex?
go 60-40. I think people not happy, but I think people surely can see it was a
Well,
reasonable performance.
66% of the viewers are still
There you
in
go.
favour of Eddie Howe.
That's
Safe.
more than last time.
Yeah. So
We should take a tally of this. We should barometer this throughout the season.
a barometer. I think
Barometer.
look, the substitutions, right? The taking off of Tonali and the excuse again is he was fatigued, he was cramped. Yet he's just gone and played 180 minutes for Italy. So Italy are getting the best from Tonali. Italy are getting full games from Tonali, but Newcastle can't. I'm sorry, but it's bollocks. And it's the same substitutions. It's the same players coming on. And it's like you've just said, Alex, it's position for position. It's not to change anything or to tactically do anything. It's position for position. And I'm getting sick and fucking tired of hearing the same bollocks about Tonali, is that he's cramping up, he's fatigued or whatever. Yet Italy are getting 2 full games out of him every international break. But for Newcastle, Eddie seems to think he can't do it. Now, for me, he didn't look fatigued yesterday. And Billy, we said this in commentary numerous times. He was sprinting around. He didn't look out of breath. He looked perfectly in the game. So I'm sorry, but that is bollocks in my opinion. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I'm just looking in. I'm thinking, how does he get 180 minutes for Italy, yet he can't complete 90 for us? It doesn't make sense.
So I completely agree with everything you're saying. Everything, all of it. To play devil's advocate, the only thing that he's potentially doing here, decision-wise, is 3 games within a set period of time. There is an increased risk to injury due to fatigue, muscular fatigue, and all of that. So it is a higher risk that you may get injured. You could get injured. And obviously, we've now got bunts in, and there may be things in place to try and reduce injuries. Devil's advocate, that's the only thing I can think of. But I agree with you. I'm furious that Italy can just do what they want and get 2 full games out of him. And then we have to be careful
He looks
with him.
superb.
It is
for us, by the
frustrating.
way. It's not like
Yeah,
he's
I
just,
agree.
It's not like he's just going through, breezing through a game, doing nothing in the game. He is heavily involved for Italy in both the previous games and the 2 before this one, before this break. So he's well in the game. Billy, I mean, it just makes no sense. I mean, he's one of our top players. We're losing the game. We haven't got a game for another week, and he takes him off. It doesn't make sense.
No, he was running around as energetically as what he was in the first minute. I didn't see it. I didn't see that anything wrong with him whatsoever. And the same with Bruno. I mean, to take your 2 best midfielders off and bring on Willock and play him out of position, and then bring on Longstaff. I've seen. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. If you're going to make a change in midfield, you take Joelinton off, who did look fatigued, and put Joe Willock there in his position where he wants to play.
But Willock is looking a shadow of his player as well. He's for me lost a yard of pace. I said this yesterday. He just doesn't seem to have that drive when he gets the ball and he's bouncing forward.
He stops, doesn't he?
He just stops, and it's. I don't know what's going on with Joe Willock. I don't know about you, Sam.
I think he needs game time. Perfectly.
Well, but I mean, what do you make of the substitutions, Sam? Because it's the in-game management. I think that we certainly on here are criticising from Eddie. Not the starting lineup or the way we play it, but it's the in-game management.
Certainly, and I think to Alex's devil's advocate point, I don't fully understand that, and I know it was a devil's advocate point, but it can't possibly be a managerial decision for that reason, because look at how much Bruno plays and then plays internationally and comes back and is so rarely substituted. My jaw hit the floor when I heard about this. When I heard about the subs, I was really confused. I did not understand it. And, Alex mentioned it earlier again about, it's like for like, not actually playing to what the opponent's tactics are. That's shoddy and lazy. It's unintelligent in-game management.
Yeah. I mean, look, Eddie has his reasons, and if he says he's fatigued, I just think it's bollocks, because Gordon can go away and play a couple of games for England or most of the time and comes back. Some of the other international players go away, play full games, and they're not hauled off. I just think it's ridiculous when we're 1-0 down and we've got a week's rest or a week before the next game, and he takes him off, and with plenty time left as well. It doesn't make sense.
I think before we run out of time to talk about this topic, can I just mention something, Paul? With we've not mentioned recruitment really yet, and I think this is one thing that is a little bit of a get out of jail free card for Eddie, is that we've not had good recruitment for the first team in a while. I mean, if we play, I know this is a massive hypothetical with you can't really say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If we had, for example, a Mark Gahey as a right-sided centre back against Brighton, or an equivalent of somebody, a younger, more athletic, faster centre half, and we'd signed a proper right winger who was meant to be our first team right winger. That's just 2 players. Which, do you sign 2 first teamers in a window? A lot of teams do, yeah. We win that game hands down, absolutely. I think that 99% chance we win that game with 2 improvements, because we're unlikely to make the Fabian Schär error, and then we've got a bit more creativity than Murphy provided, and we probably get that breakthrough goal. And that's recruitment. We sign in all these goalkeepers, and we're chasing free transfers that we're not getting. We couldn't get Gahey over the line. We couldn't get a right winger over the line. There's an element of it is down to recruitment as well for me.
Jason, I could not disagree with this comment more. And this is just, it's your opinion, fair enough. But international football is not the Premier League. Howe attempted to change things with attacking players with what was available. More facts.
He did bring on Longstaff.
So Longstaff's an attacking player.
For Bruno.
Yeah? Okay, fair enough. Mike says, agree, Paul. The journalist should be asking these questions. Garant says, do you get the feeling Tonali was an Ashworth signing? I mean, he hasn't played a full 90 yet for us, has he, this season?
No. I don't think he did last season either.
Yeah. Robert says, that's why I'm telling you he's not a winning manager. What has he won? Chris at Evermore says, what the F has Bruns done, Alex? Since he's come in, the lads look more knackered than they ever had.
Well, that's not true, because once we got going, I think the Man City game was the epitome of what we can do pressing-wise. And I think we absolutely dominated the game in terms of control against Brighton. So I completely disagree. The results doesn't always... you might have had a fantastic pressing game, but you might have lost. It doesn't mean that... No, I disagree with that. And we don't know what Bunce's influence fully is. We don't know. Has training changed because of Bunce? Are substitutions being influenced because of Bunce? Maybe. I don't know. We don't have eyes on the inside of the club. We don't know how far this goes. But like I pointed out a few weeks ago, Bunce doesn't sit down with Eddie Howe in the dugout with Jason Tyndall. He sits next to Paul Mitchell in the stands. So
yeah, they were captured on camera yesterday.
How does this work?
I do have an issue with how we are pacing games, because the press was sensational for half an hour, and after that they were knackered. Couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. Hamburger Gaming, sod off if you don't like it. Just go. Don't be abusing Alex, please. Just sod off.
Didn't even see it.
Oh, don't worry about it. Eddie can't influence how many minutes he gets for Italy, and Italy don't seem to be bothered about the fact that he was out for so long. Could Sandro not have a quiet word with the Italy boss?
Maybe he wants to play. He hasn't played in so long. He's probably been, for me, in that position, he would have been desperate to get on and represent his country as well. And I'm not saying that he's not desperate to get on for us, we've heard in statements how much he wants to repay the fans for being behind him. For me, this is a managerial decision. I don't believe it's down to fatigue at all.
A few more super chats have come in. Let's have a look. Dan Robinson. I'm not against Howe, but he's not ruthless enough. Martin Suter. Why can't we go 4-4-2 with Gordon? Well, I mean, if the Glassman ever gets back, maybe that's an option. Abhishek, thank you very much for your super chat. Thoughts on players getting big money contract based on just one season? And do you think Shea sometimes isn't completely switched on during games?
Understatement.
Yeah, he's definitely not always switched on. I think that's a very fair comment. As for the big money contract based on a season, I know why they're trying to get the contracts in, because they want more money for them if they ever do leave the club. I think that's some of the reason. I know, everybody was, bigging Isak up, but there has been a lot of people, Spanish fans, saying that he's very hit and miss at times as well. So, look, we'll have to see how it goes with Isak. Ricky Ellis, thank you for your super chat. Am I the only one who lacked confidence when Tino and Hall start together? The effort is there, but naive ball watching and reactive defending, rather than seeing these things develop and getting set for it. And Chippers, who's been a member for an incredible 34 months, thank you, buddy. Can I ask anyone, what is our identity? Because I'm struggling to identify it.
Fair comment.
It's in progress, because I think we've got the ability to, where we've got this 4-5-1, absorb pressure, play on the counter, but we've also got this we want to play 4-3-3 with our star-studded midfield and control games. We want to do, I think we're in a bit of a period where we can do a bit of both, and we're trying to transition into being a dominant team in the league and control games. We're in this gritty period. It's difficult for teams to do this.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Teams flip-flop, because like Palace last year is a great example. Teams have a great run with a style, and then it gets found out. So long term, you have to develop a dominant possession style system. I mean, who at the top of the league in most leagues doesn't play dominant football? Probably Atletico are the only team that really get away with it.
Charles, thank you for your super chat. How makes the same mistakes? It's time to go. I mean, his game management, he doesn't seem to have learned from. And the fact that we do not have a plan B, that is the worrying thing. Right, before we do the player ratings, we have to put a poll up for man of the match, because there was some decent performances yesterday. So, well, we'll say player of the match, just to be... Right. Dear me. Sam, do you want to give one, even though you've only seen highlights?
I only speak as I find.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll me, Billy, and Alex will vote, and then the three of us will vote for another one. So, I'm going to put Tonali in because I thought he was superb yesterday. Alex?
Sorry, Billy. Bruno.
Yeah. Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall for me.
Lewis Hall. Okay. Right. Fourth one. Dan Burn. Dan Burn. I'm throwing Dan Burn in the hat, guys.
Oh, I don't know. Did Joelinton do more than Dan Burn yesterday?
He was certainly, for the first 50 minutes, he was brilliant, but then he just went off a cliff, didn't he? Why didn't go substitute? I'll never know. But
I really like Gordon's performance, but the fact that we didn't score, we kind of can't be.
I can't give Gordon a shout for man of the match.
I like a lot of it though.
Not the
pressing and some of the.
His pressing was superb. No, first half was anyway. But the header on the 6-yard line, when I mean, good God, how he put it over the bar. He's unmarked. I mean, it's it's like the Everton miss when he went through on goal. Never mind the penalty. He just
go and put Dan Burn in. The fact he had it in the back of the net with this funny ninja kick was great as well. We loved that.
Yes,
even though it was offside.
So there you go, guys. Player of the match, you have Tonali, Bruno, Hall, or Burn, and we will come back to that at the end of the show. Right, let's move into the player rating, shall we? Sam, you can be kind of the overlord in all of this and keep control if it gets...
Isn't that my job on this show?
Yes. Absolutely. We'll start off with Nick Pope, Alex.
I'll go with a 7 because it's one of those that is, difficult to mark. He's not going to be able to stop the goal. 1-2 clean through on goal. He tried his best. He made himself.
He made
big.
a brilliant save as well from Matoma when Livermento decided just to sort of play him in. Billy? No.
Yeah, I think 7's fair. I mean, distribution was fine. Could do nothing about the goal. Couple of good saves. Yeah. 7.
Livermento, Billy.
Yeah. He's not the player he was last season, that's for certain.
No, he's certainly not
defensively,
at the minute.
not the race at times. I'll give him a 5.
I mean, Sam, why do you think Livermento's gone so off the boil? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is largely down to confidence of the entire team, and especially with some of our younger players. When we look up to the experience and the caliber of players that we have as well, when we're not playing as a team who's getting the results on the board, younger players are going to see that and be more easily influenced by it. So that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, it just looks a little bit too casual, and I think Nessie just said that in the chat as well. I've gone 5.5, so along the same lines as Billy. So, Alex?
I'm going to go for a 6. I thought he was really, really good in the first half. Really lively, driving forward. I think a lot of that was stunted. I mean, I'll explain it for Paul Binns as he looked funny. Jacob Murphy stifled a lot of what Livermento was trying to do. Jacob Murphy was
don't get me started.
the opposite of bravery on the ball was what Jacob Murphy was, which I didn't think helped Livermento. Livermento was making overlaps and not receiving the ball. He was driving. He was doing inverted runs.
Yeah,
and Livermento was just running for the sake of it and getting. It wasn't helping the team because Murphy was so indecisive. I liked Livermento's performance up until about an hour in, and then he started making positional mistakes, defensive judgment. There were some issues there with concentration. However, I think that I'm going to give him a 6. And the context I think everybody needs to remember is he's 21 years old. He's 21. Let's chill. 21 years old is super young. He can still play for the U21s. Like, he's a baby in football terms.
Yes, but Alex, we haven't. The thing is, when you say that, he has been brought in to be, the
long-term replacement.
Which is probably starting very much now.
Yeah, but Trippier's just got injured, so Trippier would have probably started this game if he hadn't have gotten injured.
I agree.
So I don't understand why everybody's being frustrated.
Well, anyway, can I just say, Alex, you've only given 0.5 of a mark more than me, so I mean we're on the same.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I think people are getting a little bit too many people are pushing panic buttons here. Like, he's 21, it's fine, it's an investment. Concentration issues at 21 is normal.
Lewis Hall, Alex.
I'll go for the 7. I would like to score him higher, but I can't because of the poor set pieces. So the corners were poor, so I can't go any higher than that. But he did the opposite of what Livermento did and showed a little bit more maturity in the role. Made one mistake in the second half and cleaned it up himself, which I always like if they've made a mistake, that is the worst thing I hate. I hate that in football, if somebody just stands there and lets others try and clean up their own mess. But really, really good physically, read the game well, has a lot of time on the ball, really, really good at passing as well, 90% passing accuracy. 6 accurate long balls. There was some nice stuff over the top to Gordon. Gordon kept getting in behind. Lewis Hall was the guy who was firing the balls over a lot of the time. I'll go for a 7. Should have scored higher, but he needs to do better on corners, ideally.
I've gone 6.5. Similar reasons, just disappointed with his delivery. I think he can deliver the ball better than that, but I don't know what the hell they're working on in training. It's baffling. Billy.
I mean, the set piece thing for me is that down to all of that, down to Lee Tyndall, who to me, you put him in charge of something technical is like putting a pub bouncer in charge of the peace process in the Middle East. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I'm going to disregard the set pieces. I'm going to give him an 8. I thought had an excellent game.
Okay.
You went not nuclear with that comment, Billy. Loved it.
Fabian Schär. Oh, I'm giving him a 3. He's fucking hopeless, and the goal is there's no excuse. There's no excuse for the goal. I mean, that's why I'm dropping him a lot of marks, because it was disgusting defending. He just watched Danny Welbeck standing 5. Even when the ball was coming towards Welbeck, Shea doesn't even make a move to him. He's watching as Welbeck just knocks the ball to his mate. 1-2, in on goal, 1-0. Shocking. Billy.
Fabian Schär to me looks like a player who's coming to the end of his career and knows it and doesn't really care. The attitude of him most times now, it used to be occasional. Now it seems to be more than that. Trying to do fancy flicks here, there and everywhere. Just defend properly, play the game properly. You've got skills on your feet. Use them when they're needed, not when you've got players coming at you. I'm going to give him a 2. I thought it was dreadful.
Alex.
I'm going to give him a 5. I'm angry with the goal, very angry with the positioning. I agree with what Billy's saying. There is you want him to step up as a bit of a leader. He's had the red card that so far this season and a couple of times switching off. You know, he's worn the armband, I'm pretty sure, at least once this season, and he was on pen duties against Wimbledon. He needs to step up and be the leader. He's been wearing the black and white for longer than probably most people. I mean, is he the longest serving player on the team at the moment? Yeah, I think he is in that 11.
Yeah.
And he needs to behave like it. I do agree with Billy, but there were a lot of positives from the long balls and stuff. He played several people through on goal yesterday with fantastic long balls. So
I remember 2 very good diagonal ones, which is why I give him a 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've given him a 5, because that should have resulted. A lot of what he did should have resulted in us getting better opportunities and potentially goals. And he's doing his job as a creative defender. And again, I'd much rather we drop the creative defender and just have him do the defending first.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll go with a 5.
Michael McIntyre, thank you for your super chat. All you need is a goal. Toon. Well, you start to sound like friggin' Eddie. Peter Garthwaite, thank you for your super chat. We have a coach that still doesn't know his best 11. We need to act while we are still in touch with a top 4 spot. Right, I'm very confused at a lot of people's views of Dan Burns' performance yesterday, but saying he was as bad as Fabian Schär. I mean, did you watch the game? Did you see how he defended, especially in the second half? I'm astounded, absolutely astounded. And listen, people gave me hammer last season for being very harsh on Dan Burn, and now it's the other way around. I think he's playing really well, and people are slamming me for it. Good God. I mean, Sam, we have seen a vast improvement in Dan Burn. It's centre-back compared to what he's like at left-back.
Yeah, so I can't stop giggling because this is really fun. I hope people are enjoying my reactions to this. I wish I brought popcorn for it. It's great not to have to give a score and just enjoy you lot fighting it out of the death. Celebrity death match en route. Yes, pay-per-view, please. Yeah, I definitely think Dan Burns improved this season. I think there was times when we absolutely slated the lad, and rightfully so. When he's in his right position, absolutely. I think he's done a great job so far this season. Of course, he's going to make a mistake. He's a human. He's not infallible, but he plays out of his skin for the shirt every time. And we can't say that for every player that we've got defensively right now.
Yeah, Alex, what you voting, Dan Burn?
I'm going to go with a 5.5.
Oh, fuck off, Alex. I'm sorry. No.
He's allowed his opinion.
Yes, he is, but I'm telling him to rightly, royally stick it up his ass with that 5.5. Carry on.
He gets a higher mark than Fabian Schär does because he made some really good defensive contributions in the second half. But overall,
he saved the goal.
Well, yeah, that's why he got more points than Fabian Schär.
Oh.
I could probably stretch it to a 6 because obviously Fabian did the error, and yeah, I'll stretch it to a 6.
I've already written it down.
Right, but I feel like Dan Burn in that kind of game he's not the best in that kind of game. Dan Burn is great in certain games, and I've said games too many times. I'm going to say it again. He wasn't great for that kind of game. We needed a centre half. We needed a Lloyd Kelly in that game. We needed somebody who was going to be able to fizz the ball around the back and play it a bit quicker. to create a bit of space.
He's never going to do that,
against
though,
the
is he,
low
Alex?
block.
He's never going to do that, is he? Because Dan Burns is number one while Botman's
Agreed.
out.
Agreed. However, the manager did have the choice to try and play Lloyd Kelly, who is an exact match for that position and who can play slightly better football. And I don't think Dan Burn was the right man. He made that strange tackle in the first half to get booked. I'm getting, we're hammering set pieces. Well, we've got the tallest man on the pitch every match we play, and he does nothing with it. I'm
aim for Dan Burn, to be fair. I mean,
look, he wasn't bad at all. He wasn't. It was a good, generally defensive display, but I don't think it warrants any more than a 6 or a 5.5 if that's what you're going to write down. But it was okay. But yeah, I'm not going to go. I don't think he deserves to be the man of the match shout personally. But
you told me to put him in.
I was offering alternatives because I didn't like it.
You told me to put Dan Burn.
You wanted him in, so we put him in. You're allowed your opinion as well, remember?
Speak now
Alex.
or forever hold your peace in this house. Nah, you missed your opportunity.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah. Billy?
Well, 1 plus point. Last time he marked Evan Ferguson scored a hat-trick. Yesterday, I'd have got a kick. So that's 1 plus. Why he's marking him on the halfway line when they're in our area, I will never know. I think that's disgraceful defending. I really do. So that's a negative point. But second half, I thought he put his body on the line a few times. So for the first half, I'd probably give him a 4, but the second half, probably an 8. So I'll give him a 6.
Oh, dear me. I've given him a 7.5. I thought I'm happy with Dan at the minute. I have to say, Kieran, thank you for your super chat.
I want to know why.
Explain yourself.
I have already
had to explain.
Right. For the second half alone, deserves a 7.5. Okay, simple as that. End of story. I think he was he defended brilliantly in that second half. And people who don't believe me need to go back and watch the sodden game. Kieran, thank you for your super chat. Thank you for putting these bunch of morons right. Without Dan Burn, the score could have been 3-0, not 1-0. A man who talks sense just like myself. Anyway, let's move on.
Noticed how you read out a lot of the comments that agree with you, Paul, tonight.
Mm-hmm. With Lloyd Kelly might have been fine.
Whoa. We're not moving on from that disgraceful comment from Sam.
Just an agent of chaos tonight. I love it.
That is because the majority of the comments are agreeing with me because our subscribers and viewers are very sophisticated, brilliant knowledge of the game of football, just like myself. Unlike these knobheads who are, colleagues of mine who are disgraceful when it comes to.
To be fair, Paul, you are correct. If we'd have played without Dan Burn, we would have done worse because we'd have had 10 men. So you are right.
I've got to say, firstly, as well, whoever's telling Dan Burn to play so high up the pitch, whoever's telling Dan Burn to play high up the pitch needs to kind of learn something about football because you don't put your slowest player.
That's really irked you, hasn't it? That he's taken man marking far too literally.
Right, let's move on to the midfield, guys. Sorry, Garant's comment just caught my eye there. Go on, Sam. Paul is right, though, but don't tell him.
You can't hear him because he's got a hook in his mouth still off Alex winding him up as well. Love it.
Dan Robinson, thank you for your super chat. Now I've got a lovely clean arse. Thank you, Paul.
Good for you.
Dan, I'm going to give you the biggest compliment of them all. Go and take your face for a shit. And I haven't said that for a long time. But thanks for the super chat, matey. We love you. Right, Bruno, Alex.
I mean, he's my man of the match. I'm going to give him. I'll go for an 8. I can't go any higher because we lost the game, but I think he himself was fantastic at controlling the game. There was once when he lost the ball that I wasn't happy with. I think that was Baeba in midfield for Brighton was very good on occasion. He's very young, but he definitely stepped up. You can see how good he's going to be. But yeah, Bruno was fantastic. Arguably deserved an assist. That through ball to Isak one-on-one. Bruno did his job. Did his job at dictating tempo, spraying the ball left and right, playing killer balls through. It's not his fault that Gordon and Isak could not hit a barn door. And for people saying, yeah, but what is it? Was it a shot on target? Was it a chance from outside the box? No. Bruno played Isak clean through on goal. 100% got to score that. So Bruno deserves an 8 from me. I think he did fantastic. He was a captain and he was brilliant.
Channel Right, thank you for your super chat. Burn grew into the game. Everyone else flagged. A man of precise knowledge. Anyway, Billy, Bruno. Or a woman. Is Channel Right a woman?
I believe so. I believe Channel's a woman's name, rather than a man's.
Yeah, but we thought it was like a YouTube channel. Or Alex did anyway when he said it could
No,
be
what's
Channel.
Channel, are you a man or a woman? I mean, it's not a question I usually ask, but there you go. 8 out of 10.
We could just say thank you.
All that.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Love, dear. Chum.
Oh, God.
Yeah. There you go. 8 out of 10. I agree with Alex. I don't think it's arguable he should have an assist. He should definitely have had an assist. He was outstanding yesterday.
He should have.
Mistake, like you said. One mistake, like you said, but I mean, he definitely ran the game. He and his reward for that was to be taken off and replaced by
I'm sorry.
That's absolutely madness.
Another fan channel said it was Bruno's worst game for Newcastle.
I have heard that. I've heard a few really bad opinions on Bruno's game, and I'm
Name
shocked.
and shame. Who were they? Who were they? Who said that?
Channel is a man, by the way, so I was wrong. Sorry, look.
Yes, piss off, Billy. Who would possibly say that was?
There were some comments in the watch along saying Bruno's not good enough to be captain, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Listen,
I thought Bruno had a great game.
I mean, listen, Bruno and the captain
debate's different. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I don't. To be fair, Blue Nose says, "Don't be nasty," or would you prefer if she was a man? She is a man. He is a man. What about she is a man? He is a man. It doesn't bloody matter. Anyway, I've give Bruno a 4, plus 4, which is an 8. So we've all agreed on Bruno. Let's move on to Sandro Tonali. Billy.
I'm going to give him the same mark, 8 out of 10. Thought it was absolutely brilliant. Energy, technical ability. Him and Bruno between them was superb yesterday. And you can see a real promising partnership starting to develop there. And maybe taking a bit longer than what it should have done. That's down to other things, I guess.
I'm seeing comments from viewers saying that Bruno and Tonali can't play together.
Well, they certainly can, because yesterday they were outstanding together. Both from a defensive point of view and from an attacking point of view. Tonali's running off the board yesterday was absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Such a clever player. 8.
Yeah. He just floats around the pitch, doesn't he? He's just fantastic to watch. I've gone 8 as well for exactly the same reason. I thought that he was excellent yesterday. Alex?
I'm going to go for 7.5, just because I don't think he was quite as good as Bruno, but I thought he was fantastic. Just running the midfield. The fact that Bruno and Sandro were there together is one of the reasons Brighton decided to play the way they played. They were away at St James's Park, and we'd got a fully fit midfield of them. So that just speaks volumes as to how good he is. I think he was limited by Jacob Murphy's performance, because Sandro was doing a lot of runs inside and then sort of doing a bit of overlapping when Tino went the other side, and there was a lot more that we could have got out of Sandro if Murphy was just awake yesterday. Yeah. And that was really frustrating, because Sandro was so ready to do little link-up plays. A couple of times he tried cheeky little first-time sneaky balls around the outside into the box, and just nobody read it at all. He's actually sometimes too good for the players around him. He'll do something and they're just like, they just don't read the situation at all. 7.5. I think he's brilliant. I think there needs to be context as to why he didn't do better. A lot of that was Murphy, but we'll mark Murphy separately.
Oh dear. Looks like he's going to get one. No, he's all right.
I've gone again.
No, you're still here.
You're still here. There you go. Back on.
Paul, are you with us from the other side?
Hello.
Aubrey.
I mean, it could be very dangerous if he doesn't realise he's gone and keeps talking. That's my fear.
I mean, we can just mute him can you?
Fuck off! I'm back.
There we go.
I heard you prick. Anyway, let's move on. You just put yourself right in the mud there, Alex, because I stayed very still, so you thought I was still frozen, and I could hear the conversation.
We were helping you. If you were going to
Oh,
start
my
swearing, we
fat
could have
ass
muted
were
you.
you helping me. My fat backside with hemorrhoids.
Oh.
Anyway,
Lovely.
There's a cream for that.
Anyone fancy grapes?
Rodders 007, thank you for your super chat. Brighton fan, we came for the draw and got lucky.
100%. Can't disagree with that.
Yeah,
Outstanding.
well, I don't think you'll be playing those tactics again. Honestly.
Yeah, if you do that against anyone else, that won't. If you try that against Man City, you'll lose 5-0. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Okay, Joelinton. I've gone for a 6. I thought he started the game very, very well. But for me, fizzled out. And, he was overshadowed by the 2 other midfielders yesterday. Billy?
No, I'll give him 6.5 because I thought he was very good for the first 15 minutes, but he ran off a cliff, fitness-wise, and why he wasn't taken off rather than the other 2. I really don't understand it.
Alex?
I'm going to go with a 7. I'm not going to blame him for being tired when he's tired. I think the sub should have been... Again, I think it should have been a Willock for Joelinton sub a lot earlier. I just don't think the subs were right. I think Joelinton played his game very well for 60, 65 minutes, and then we needed to change it. He was doing a lot as well, second half, of people losing the ball. He'd go back and win it, and he did it. He did it numerous times. He was back to his old kind of warrior self. He wasn't doing anything incredible in front of goal and creatively because he's not that kind of guy. He can sometimes, and he's won us points on his own this season, Southampton being one of them. So as long as he does the warrior stuff, that's his job. And he did the warrior stuff in my books. I'm going to give him a 7. I think somebody should have been subbed off earlier. Well, that sums it up, doesn't it, Jordan?
Yeah. Nothing good to say about them. For some reason, they trashed us in the past for no reason. So don't care.
Get shit. Yeah.
Right, let's move on to Jacob Murphy, and I am going to start with Jacob Murphy because he was absolutely horseshit yesterday. He offered nothing, zilch, 0, bullshit performance, a 1, simply for putting his boots on. Alex?
I like the fact that he tried, but there's not much else from it, really.
And the award for showing up goes to Murphy.
Yeah, to put a number on it. I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be really fair here. There were a couple of times where he chipped in defensively, but even then, there's a few times where he ball
Alex,
watches
you're
as
starting
well.
to sound like you're talking about Miggy here.
I'll go with 3. I'll go with the 3. So, does everybody remember the goal we conceded against Man City? Because Grealish managed to get through, because Murphy didn't help defensively. He did that on quite a number of occasions yesterday. We didn't get caught out by it, but we could have done. He kept doing that again, and I think that's something that he should have learnt from, because this was a game from a few weeks ago, and surely that should have been analysed and explained to him, something that he should have worked on, and was exactly the same. It was no better. But obviously the main criticism is just inept going forward. I don't know what was wrong with him. He just kept reaching the fullback, and he was looking at Tonali, looking at Tino, and he didn't understand where he was. I don't know. It just shocking. Decision making in the bin, lacking confidence. I don't know what was wrong with him. And then all of a sudden he was like, "Oh God, I've got to do something here," and tries to skip past 3 players and loses the ball. So, well, no, Jacob, that obviously wasn't the right choice, was it, mate? Just pass it off to somebody, do something a little bit safer to retain the ball. Stop trying to score a worldie with your left foot from 25 yards. Can we work the opportunity, please? Sandro and Tino are making runs, and you just dithering on the ball. And it was. I wanted Miggy on at half time in my own head. I know people would hate that, but I wanted something different because Jacob was just awful. He was so bad.
Or he could have put Barnes on.
Or that, yeah, agreed. So we needed something else because whatever Jacob was giving us, it wasn't good enough.
LG says he tried is why you gave Burn a high score, lol. No, I didn't. I gave Burn a high score because I thought he played very well, not because he tried. He defended very well in my eyes. So anyway, John says, can we give Murphy a 0? Complete check. Well, you can give him a 0, you can give him a minus. It's up to you. Billy, what we scoring Murphy for you?
Let's go through it first. I mean, for me, he should have started. I thought Miggy was was outplaying him recently, and I think Mickey should have started the game. Murphy's
But
been
Eddie
dreadful
Howe's
today.
comments for that was Miggy
Yeah,
didn't.
come back
Miggy was
from
the
international
last.
duty.
He was
Yeah.
the last one back, wasn't
No,
he?
I don't care. If Stephen Hawking had been available, he'd have been more useful. Murphy yesterday, he was absolutely dreadful. Trying to do things that is above his pay level. He's playing with players who are far more technically advanced than he is, and we know that. And he usually gets out of that with a bit of effort. And he did put effort in yesterday, but he managed, with that effort, to block a shot on goal. Isak's only decent shot of the game.
He did,
Murphy
yes.
decided to get in front of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I don't think he even got his boots in the right feet.
Okay. I mean, Sam, when you saw the starting lineup Murphy was in, were you happy with that or not?
It's a tough one because I think Miggy is starting to come to life a little bit more. I am not saying I would love either of them. We need a new right winger to be fair. And I don't know whether it was tactically. I would have really preferred to have seen Gordon on the right and play Barnes on the left with Isak through the middle, but I can't have what I want. So we are where we are. I don't know whether it's part of the job description that our right wingers just have to smile and run about aimlessly at the minute, actually.
Well, it's the fact that Tino, that I've downrated Tino and Tonali because of what Murphy did. The fact that he's had such an impact on players around him negatively is a concern. Normally when we criticize one player, it's because of the things he's done, but he's also downgraded the performances of others around him, and it has such a knock-on effect. We needed him to do a bit more, even 10-20% more out of Murphy. That might have been enough to win that game. It was so static. He's a squad player functioning as a starter right now, which you shouldn't be having squad players as consistent starters. That's like us using Emil Kraft 20 games in a row. We like Emil Kraft, but no. And that's the kind of part that Jacob needs to be in at the moment. And he's not. He's starting most games.
Anthony Gordon, Billy?
Well, if you take away these chances, he's had a really good game, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, he's missed a one-on-one where he's panicked and snatched at the shot and shot too early. And he's also been caught by Lewis Duncan and raced it in the second half, which I thought was very, very
the header.
surprising. And then you had the header, which he snatched that again. And
but
aside from that, I mean, his general game was really good. But you take the chance, put chances into the equation, then I'm going to give him a 6.5.
6.5. Alex?
Yeah, it's a tough one because ultimately his rating is going to take a hit because he didn't find the back of the net. You're not always going to score as an attacker. You're not expected to score every game, but we really needed somebody to pull us through, and he didn't, unfortunately. I'm going to give him a 7 because I really enjoyed everything that he did in that match in terms of pressing, the runs, getting into the box. It was fantastic. I think I'm being a bit generous giving him a 7 there. I think maybe you should.
I don't think you are, Alex, because I've given him a 7 as well. I think he probably would have, had he put one of those chances away and scored a goal, I think he would have been up there for man of the match, in my opinion. Because that's, I mean, the Brighton goalkeeper got really lucky on one occasion when Gordon got a touch on the ball, but obviously Mr. Rick O'Shea just wasn't on our side yesterday, let's be fair.
If one of those goes in, people are giving him 10s.
Yeah,
people would probably give him 10s in the chat if one of those goes in. So we're talking about margins.
But again, it's lacking that cutting edge at the moment. Okay, Isak, Alex.
Well, I mean, reverse what I just said about Gordon. Isak is the guy that I think we're allowed more expectation on the main striker. Gordon's a winger. You're not going to score all the time. But for Alexander Isak to be presented, I mean, he had 7 shots yesterday.
Yeah.
Got to score us a goal. If that game ends up 1-1 because of the defensive error, that is not Alexander Isak's fault. If you score a goal in a game as a striker, you've done your job. And he couldn't hit a barn door. He was letting us down physically. And I agree. I didn't notice this until Billy pointed it out. But he played better for a 10-minute period when he thought he was going to get subbed off. I don't know if I misread that situation. Maybe somebody remembers it better. But if that is
I remember Billy saying it during commentary as well. He said he's picked up because
if that's true, I'm not happy with that. Because he's been so poor physically in games. He was really good for the first 10 minutes physically, and then really good when he thought he was going to get subbed off. I hope I'm wrong in that, but Billy mentioned it and it makes sense. And yeah, 7 shots.
But you have to ask the question why he suddenly played like that for a 10-minute spell, and then before that he was just god awful. It
It's
doesn't
weird,
make
right?
any sense.
He can do it.
Yeah,
I got him a score, haven't I?
Oh yeah,
4.
yeah, 4.
I'm going to go with a 4 because he's got at least 4.
Well, I've given him a 2. I'm fucking sick of him at the minute. I really am. In my honest opinion, I'm sick of him. I'm fed up of him. At the minute, he's acting like this sort of prima donna, and I hate to say that, but we know Isak's got the skill. We know he's got the quality, but we're just not seeing anything this season. Their black and white shirt from him that deserves any praise. He has been rotten. And as our main striker, who's been banded around to be this star for Arsenal, be this star for Manchester United, or who be it, he is a shadow of what these people were seeing last season and talking about him being this huge big thing. I'd go for Isak. All the pundits were saying, I'd go for Isak. I'd go for Isak. They wouldn't touch Isak right now. He's way out of. There's something not right.
If you look at the physicality of the big teams, look at what Kai Havertz and Haaland give for Arsenal and City in terms of physicality. Isak does not give us anywhere near that. None at all.
Jason Brown says, stick to ice hockey, Paul. What are you on about, Jason? I mean, are you seeing? I mean, what did you score him? Let's know what Jason scored him and why you scored him that. Billy.
Yeah, he's there to score goals, and he didn't do that. I mean, but the plus point is he's actually getting into areas at least yesterday where he can go score goals, and that's a very small plus point. I agree, but he wasn't doing that before. Before his injury, he was peripheral to the game, and yesterday he wasn't. He got involved. However, the fact of the matter is he couldn't finish, and so I'll give him a 4.
Jason says, joke, mate. Okay, I'll let you off. I'm just high on emotion tonight. And it's Alex's fault. And Sam. Anyway, Sam, what do you think's going on with Isak?
I think throughout this season so far, he hasn't been getting the service that he needs. We've spoke to this point before. I think that in turn has left him with a dint in his confidence. I think it's frustrating when we see him play for his national side, Sweden, and he can be absolutely outstanding for them, but we don't seem to get any of the benefits for his club side, unfortunately. I think the service does have a lot to do with it, and I think the symptom has then resulted in confidence and then lack of goals.
What is going to be very interesting, guys, is how he performs when Wilson's fit again. Let's just see how he performs when he knows Callum's on the bench.
People always turn the volume up. When they've got someone in the shadow, they turn the volume up, they kick it up because they want game time.
Yeah,
We've
this
seen
is
it before.
papering over the cracks, though, isn't it? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Come back. Things are going to get better, and everyone's going to go, "Woo! Everything's fantastic."
I really want to see Isak back because we know what he's capable of. That's the frustrating thing. We all know how good he is and what he's capable of, and that's I think the biggest frustration out of everything is the fact that we know how good he is, but he's a shadow of that player right now. Anyway, let's move on to the substitutes. Joe Willock, simple for me, a 2. I'm fed up with him right now. Billy?
Yeah, he was poor. I agree with you. I think he looks to have lost a yard of pace. Confidence isn't very high, but I think he needs to win a game to get him back into the swing of things. He's not going to get that in that side, unfortunately. Maybe I think he's surplus to requirements at this moment in time. I'll give him a 3.
Okay. Lots of 1s, 2s, and 0s coming in. Alex?
I'm going to give him a 3 because it's what I gave Jacob Murphy. I think Willock was the left-sided Jacob Murphy in that match. He just ran at his fullback, looked like he was going to beat him on the outside, and decided he wasn't, and just stopped.
Yeah.
And I can't remember anything else but that situation multiple times. I can't remember doing anything else of note. I mean, I think I wrote about him a couple of times and I was taking notes, but it was nothing. There was nothing really.
He played a square ball straight to touch, that's a...
He did, yeah. Outside of his boots, straight out.
3 yards.
Jesus. I mean,
that's everything.
I think it's interesting what Billy said there about surplus to requirements. Or the problem is with a player like that, you can't really loan him, can you? But we need...
Yeah, well...
He needs games. He needs games, no doubt about that, but he's not going to get it in that side. He's not.
He's not good.
No,
at
Do
it.
you know
the
what, Billy?
left-sided
If you think about the game against Wimbledon, though, I mean, it was the wrong sort of game for him. In fairness, but he got a few minutes behind him there. I just feel like he just needs that moment of magic just to sort of kick him on a bit. But then again, the rest of the
We
players
could have
need
done
the
with an
moment as
easier
well.
draw instead of Chelsea in the cup, so we could have played a full
Yeah.
90 minutes against a slightly more standard
Well,
side.
you know,
And
I
instead
mean,
we've drawn Chelsea
there's people in
again.
the chat saying, you know, has Isak head been turned? Is he putting in everything he's got right now? Is he still injured? Willett looks extra slow right now. I mean, it's just, oh dear. Anyway, let's move on to another superstar, Sean Longstaff. Billy,
Barnes was.
I've got Barnes on the list. We'll just go through the list.
Longstaff.
Yeah.
It's what do you expect from him? I don't think it's fair on him for him to be taking corners and free kicks. He's not the player you want to come in and try and chase a game. Absolutely not. And again, you blame the manager for that. I'll give him a 3.
Okay. I've given him a 2, as same as Willock. Alex?
I mean, how long did he play? 25 minutes, including the extra time.
Seemed
Um,
longer. It seemed longer. Seemed like on the pitch 3
I mean,
years.
he passed the ball 8 times and completed all 8 passes. But
Sorry,
I don't-
I just need to get excited about something. He passed the ball 8 times in
He did.
25 minutes. My fucking God.
he didn't do anything else. But I don't know. I'm just going to go with a 5, bang in the middle. I'm not going to
Fucking hell,
give him
Alex,
points
Jesus
or
Christ.
take off points. Well, I'm not going to
It's
blame
not,
Sean.
it's not his fault. Yeah, it's not his fault.
Yeah, you can't blame Sean for not coming on and scoring a bicycle kick. Like, what do you want from him? He's a holding midfielder. Like,
Yeah, but we're
come
giving him a player rating based on his performance, not whether we feel sorry for him given the situation he's put into. It's how he
on.
performs
I
on
rated
the
him
pitch.
the same sort of thing that I rated Dan Burn with. You know, he is what he is. You can't make him be an attacking midfielder. He's not one.
But his performance when he came on is what we're rating here, not our feelings whether we think he's unlucky.
That's why I gave him
coming to that.
that's why I gave him a 5 because
He wasn't a 5, Alex. Come on. I'm turning to Zippy out of bloody Rainbow
Oh,
now.
Get in the box, man.
I
Why is he not a
can't.
5?
Sorry?
Why is he not a 5?
Because he was pants.
What did he do? What did
Why?
he do to lose points off a 5?
Well, let's see. Free kick was diabolical. Couldn't hit the.
Why is he taking free kicks?
I don't know, but I'm rating his free kick because he took it. He's a footballer. He should be able to cross a ball and beat the first man. He ran around like he normally does.
Trivia
and
Hall and
did
Gordon
nothing.
can't do that either, to be fair.
Ryan's
We didn't mark
asking
Gordon
why
down
should
for
he
his
be a
poor corners.
5?
Yeah, but you didn't mark Gordon down.
No.
for not being the first man
I
on
am
corners.
asking you, Alex. We have had a question from a viewer. Why are you giving him a 5?
Because that is the starting point, and I don't think he did anything positive or negative enough to have moved up or down on a 5. That's the starting point. In the same way, you did not mark Anthony Gordon down for not getting past the first man on corners on his side. So that's the Gordon set pieces. So why
I
are we
knocked
not
him down 3
marking
points
Gordon
because I
down
thought
on
if
set
he's-
pieces?
I did knock him down.
Somebody needs to knock you down.
Listen, get back and you just sit there and smile.
Another news. Paul, I think you missed a super chat though.
Did I? No, I was coming on to that, but thank you anyway.
I'll
Mitchell
do it
needs to
then.
get rid
Peter
of Eddie-
Garthwaite, thank you so much. £2 super chat. Mitchell needs to get rid of his favourite crap. did that douse the flames a little bit, lads?
It did,
How
yes.
We're all on the
Right,
same side here.
right, let's get on to another one, shall we? Billy, Miggy.
Ran around, smelled a bit. Well, then he didn't do anything else. I'll give him a 3.
I mean, Foxy's got a point. He did come on in the 85th minute. So I think
Don't give a shit. Let's move on, Alex.
for who?
Miggy.
Miggy.
Oh, Miggy.
Yeah.
5 as well. I don't think he did enough to
Oh,
warrant
God.
it. He did everything
I
wrong.
knew he was going to do that.
Look, for anybody criticizing my marking schemes as well, you've got to understand that newspapers don't even go lower than a 3. You know, if you're reading a newspaper, and it's a
I
rating,
agree with you.
3
there,
is their
definitely.
lowest, which is
Absolutely.
stupid because it's out of 10. But they, you know, so I think our ratings are far more realistic because we go from 0 to
Yeah,
10,
yeah.
and so yeah. Got
well,
5
based
for
on
me.
the
'cause
Willock
he
and
didn't do
Longstaff
anything good on
scores. Yeah, I'm giving him a 2 as well. Right, Barnes, Alex.
Barnes, I'm going to give a 7. I really liked what he did, trying to make stuff happen. Completed a dribble, was decently physical as well. Won all of his ground duels. He got a key pass. He was trying to make something happen. Couldn't quite do it. He got into the box a couple of times as well on that left hand side. We can't expect him to turn everything around for us every time he comes on as a sub. I thought he was fine. I think he should be very angry that he didn't start that game.
I 100% agree, Alex. 7 for me as well for the same reasons. Stick that in your pipe, Sam. Right, Billy.
I agree. I think he should be starting the game. He's been our best player this season. Yet Eddie Howe doesn't find a way for him to be in the side.
Yeah.
And what he's got Jacob Murphy in that side, it's criminal. They can understand him not playing him on the left hand side, but he can always move forward to the right and play Barnes. And Barnes, as I say, he's a goal threat. And that's one thing we need yesterday was a goal threat. And when he came on, he tried his hardest. Didn't quite work for him, but he put the effort in and he did get involved. He wanted the ball as much as possible. I'll give him a 6.
Okay. Ball Geordie, you clearly haven't been watching all the show. You've made a few comments about how Sam isn't allowed an opinion and a rating.
It's because I'm a woman, Ball Geordie. I know it's disgraceful. No, Ball Geordie, thank you for having my back, by the way. But I unfortunately didn't get to watch the match. I only saw the highlights. So thank you, though. I love that. Have my back.
Yeah, that's going to be all over social media now, isn't it? How the Toon review is sexist towards Sam.
Bring a woman on just to make her watch.
Bring a woman on.
Yeah,
just,
that's it.
Yeah, just.
That's fucking outrageous. It really is.
Absolutely.
Get by the kitchen. Right.
It's shocking, dear God. Honestly. Dear.
2 sugars, Sam. 2 sugars.
Well, right on it. Right on it.
Wow. Okay, Asula. How long was Asula on for?
9 minutes.
Not long.
Are we going 5s?
I mean, he didn't touch the ball once.
Well,
He ran, and may I add, I mentioned this in the Patreon with Billy. That boy for 6'4" is stupidly fast. That was mental seeing some of those runs.
Yeah,
he's going to be a unit when we actually get to see him play a run of games. He's menace. I'm excited for us to actually break through, but I'm going to abstain from scoring him because he didn't touch the ball, not even once.
well, he caused a few issues, didn't he, Billy? I think we said that he
got amongst it without touching the ball. Yeah, his pressing was good.
I mean, if you want to give him a 6 for pressing, so starts at a 5, gets a point for pressing, I guess.
Yep. Okay. 6
making
for
some
Asula,
runs.
Yeah. Billy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, we're all 6s on Asula then. Right, Eddie Howe. Dear. Billy.
Well, last season against Chelsea away, we were 2 goals down. He brought Bruno off. Then we scored. And I said then, taking Bruno off was like waving a white flag. Yesterday, we were chasing the game with 1 down, and he brought Bruno off for Longstaff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't take your talisman off. You really don't. You've got to have him in that side to put a prompt us to keep us going. That was a ridiculous substitute, as was the Tonali one for Willock. It was ridiculous. So his in-game management was absolutely shocking. Didn't lock his original lineup with Murphy either. I'm going to give him a 3.
3 for Eddie Howe from Billy Bob. Alex?
So I mean, Nigel's using the formula there. I'm going to use it as well. I'm going to give him a +2 for the style and game plan and control, and then I'm going to mark. So that puts him up to a 7, and then I'm going to mark backwards from everything that was wrong. He gets a -1 for set pieces, which ultimately he's got the say on whether Tyndall does it or not, and he needs to put his foot down. So that's back down to a 6. The substitutions takes him back down to a 5. Just general in-game management of just a plan B, a different shape, just trying something a bit different. Isak maybe not coming off as well, and Joelinton for Willock. All of that, I think I'm going to go another one down to 4. So I'll stick it on a 4. I know people have gone a bit lower, but I'm happy to give him some positive marks because he ultimately has trained this team up to get all those chances and opportunities. So Isak and Gordon should have done better with some of their opportunities, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets a 4 because he did do a lot wrong as well.
Yeah, I've gone for a 4 as well. Exactly the same reasons as Alex. So that we can agree on some things, you know. But that's the beauty of this channel. We don't all just sit here and go, yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. We don't all agree. And that's the beauty about it. We're not frightened to say that we disagree with one of the other colleagues. And it doesn't mean that we're going to have a big Royal Rumble battle. It's just that we disagree on certain things. And that's what makes this channel for me, is the fact that we're honest.
Royal Rumble is the Halloween special. It's not yet.
Yeah, billion speedos, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not when MDS fell off.
Wow.
And speaking of ratings, I got a -9 tonight for my contribution. Shoot to thrill 1. Wowza. Thank you for that.
I think that might not be a -9. I think that might just be 9. I think you're getting a 9.
Better be a 9. Better be.
Yeah. I don't understand why you would mark something.
Exactly. What have I done wrong?
I did see a comment. I did see a comment earlier on saying that Sam isn't there for eye candy because we have Billy.
There you go. Are you diabetic by any chance?
Yeah. Tim, what planet are you on? 9 times out of 10, you will beat Brighton. Totally deluded. Listen, Timmy,
no one said
we
that.
didn't beat Brighton yesterday. This is the match review for the game yesterday. We did not beat Brighton. We lost. And that is what we're talking about. We're not talking about 9 out of 10 games. We're talking about yesterday's game, which finished 1-0 to Brighton.
So they play that way because of their own injuries. I mean, that's nonsense. We understand they had centre-half injuries, but no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Absolutely not true.
Anyway, shall we see who the viewing public have gone for man of the match?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be Bruno, surely. Bruno, maybe Hall second.
Well, I'm staggered by these results, guys. Staggered.
Oh, Dan Burn didn't get it then.
No, but he wasn't last.
Wasn't he?
No.
Is that what surprised you?
The viewers' man of the match was Sandro Tonali with 49% of the votes.
Wow.
In second place, Lewis Hall with 23% of the votes. In third, Dan Burn on 17% of the votes. And last,
Bruno last
on 11% is Bruno.
Bruno played the through ball for Isak's arguably the best chance of our whole game came from Bruno.
Actually, just as I ended the poll, Bruno went down to 10.
Wow.
So that is a big surprise for me, Bruno.
Huge. That's a huge surprise.
Yeah, but 10%, well, 49%. Tonali, I'm not going to disagree with.
That's a lot of people wrong. That's incredible.
Fuck off. The thing is, I mean, how daft does that look now to Eddie Howe taking Tonali off, and nearly 50% of the Newcastle United supporters population think that he was man of the match?
Well, he was. I thought he was personally. Let's be honest.
I have a question for you.
Ooh.
So we have been complaining about the journalists in the press conferences before the matches. What question would each of you ask Eddie in the lead up to the next match?
What the fuck you playing at?
No, right, okay.
What the fuck you playing at? I'd ask him. I'd ask him about his substitutions, or maybe having a plan B instead of bringing.
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I mean, we could literally write a whole book about questions.
Lloyd Kelly versus
what does Harvey Barnes? What does Harvey Barnes have to do to start regularly?
Yeah.
The Lloyd Kelly versus Dan Burn. With we appreciate Dan Burn's got the leadership, but Lloyd Kelly was brought in last summer to be used, and he's not being used. He's a more technical footballer. You were playing a technical game. Why didn't you use him? Yeah, and then you can say the same about basically everybody. Why is Murphy starting? Why not others?
I mean, Tanguy says there. Tanguy's got a point. My question is: why are you obsessed with left-sided players?
Why did you promote Jason Tinder from collecting bibs and putting cones out to do set pieces?
I'm sure the journalists could sit down. They've got the time to do this. It's literally their job. They could go and have a look at corner rates and see how many goals we've gotten off corners, set pieces. They could go and have a look at this, and that could be framed as a question quite easily. And I tell you what, I guarantee somebody asked it now, mine, Craig. If somebody asked that question, I'm going to be gutted. But it needs to be asked, so please ask it. No, I changed my mind. Ask about the bloody corners and set pieces.
Ask.
For God's sake. It's been ages. It's not been good enough. Trippiers were pants as well.
Yeah.
It's been a long-standing thing.
What's your favourite One Direction record? Another question I'd ask.
No.
Probably the wrong choice of group there, but
Jesus.
what's your favourite Little Mix record? Sorry.
We'll take it that was the last band name that you've seen, Billy.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't think that'd go down that well. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Fuck's sake!
Oh my god!
I apologise. None of that was real, by the way. None of that was real. I didn't mean any of that.
We apologise for Billy.
Close the show for fuck's sake.
Close the show.
I've got Tourette's.
Thanks everybody for tuning into the last show of the Toon review tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure knowing you all.
Shit, Anita. Fuck's sake. I'll stick to what's your favourite cheese.
I think we're just going to mute Billy's mic manually now, just so he can't say anything again. There you go, Paul. He can't say anything now.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Baby.
Thanks.
No way, the lads and lasses.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your
Good night, everyone.
memberships and your super chats. Mods, thank you so much. Thank you, colleagues. I've got to go. I'll see you soon.
Come back and check out some green.